Stan and Novak in Dundas. And Stan is going to share some information with us today about the historic walks that he does in Dundas. And how long have you been doing that now, Stan?
Oh, God. About 16 years now, 15, 16 years.
Really? Okay. And did you start it? Was it you that started
I
it?
didn't. I actually have to get credit to Carolyn Westaby for this.
Okay.
She was the former curator at the museum. And there was an Arts Dundas weekend coming up, and it was run by the Carnegie Gallery and the Dundas Museum. And I hadn't been in Dundas that long at that time, but I was starting to really get to know and really be fascinated with the history. She asks me, do you want to do the bus tour? They hired a double-decker bus. And they says, do you want to do the bus tour? I said, Carolyn, how long do you want me to do this for? 4 hours. Really? I don't know that much about Dundas. You'll be sharing it with Claire Crozier, the
Right.
chair of the board of the museum that time, and he knows everything about Dundas. So I thought, oh my God, if I have any doubts, I can ask him. And at the last second, he couldn't make it. And I thought, oh my God, really? I got to do this on my own? So I made some cheat sheets, went out there, did it. I had such a great time. 4 hours went by like that. I could have gone another 4 hours. I was just in the groove. And I told Carol, as long as I live and breathe and can walk and talk, I want to do this whenever you want me to do it. And I've been doing it. It's called the Made in Dundas thing.
It was.
Ta-da, plug there.
It is. I've seen those T-shirts around. So there was a double-decker bus in Dundas?
There was a double-decker bus in Dundas back then. And then I can't remember how the actual walking tours started. I think Environment Hamilton approached me first on about the walkability of Dundas.
Okay.
And I did a tour for them, and it just snowballed from there.
Yeah.
And the museum calls me, people call me and ask, and I'm just glad to regale about my favorite town. There's a whole bunch of great stories. The heritage, both natural and cultural, is so rich here.
I know.
I love it.
Are you from Dundas?
No. I've been from Dundas since May 28, 1999. How's that?
That's pretty good. You're coming up to your anniversary.
Yeah.
And
22 years.
What do you love most about Dundas?
Oh my God. You know what? It was when I first came in here, I liked the location. It was a nice nestled little valley surrounded by the escarpment on three sides. And something just felt right about being here. Up until that time, my life felt like a long fly ball. And when I moved here, it landed solidly into this glove called Dundas. And I got, like every community I lived in, I've always explored the community and got to know it a bit more. But what I noticed here, that this community of the others I've lived in, scattered throughout Southern Ontario, were more welcoming, more embracing. And a lot of them volunteered. And this was contagious. I had to get involved and do stuff. And I did. And to this day, now 22 years later, 9 out of 10 people I meet in Dundas, who live in Dundas, volunteer for something or another. And the 10th one just hasn't lived here long enough. That's all.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. So what kind of historic walks have you been on? Like what kind of places would you go to?
Oh, gee. Well, the first one went around downtown Dundas, a natural, a big fit. There's tons of stuff to learn. And I was always paranoid. So I have a Linus blanket. I always carry some notes around. At least I did for the first 10 years. And now I just know them. And they become like they're my family. They're my soul. Yeah. And I've done Cross Melville Heritage District, the Driving Park, Grove Cemetery, the Desjardins Canal, and as well as Spencer Creek.
Yeah.
For starters.
Fantastic. And do you get the ideas yourself, or where do you get your information from? Like the historic part?
Lots of sources. Most 99% of the time, people approach me and say, "Can you do a tour for us?" Including the museum, especially the museum. Yeah. And I'll put something together and I'll give them a snappy title or something like that. Russ Powers wants to do a tour on famous fires in Dundas.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I combined it with a tour that a lady named Lisa Clark from Free Will Cycle wanted to do, a bike tour. So I called it Dundas Hotspots. We biked around to all the famous or the infamous fires were. So lots of people give me some great ideas one of the ones that I thought about that really went well was I did a scavenger hunt for a Girl Scouts called Dundas, the second story. So all the clues were around downtown Dundas, but I had to look up. It's amazing what you can learn about a community just by looking up.
Yeah.
And we're lucky here because the skyline here is virtually unchanged since pre-Confederation.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So what's your favorite one, do you think?
My favorite tour?
Your favorite tour that you've done? Yeah.
Good Lord.
Or do you have one?
That is really hard.
Yeah.
That is really, really hard. I know. I love it doing with the kids. I work with a Mr. Rob Bell from Dundas, Dundas Central Public School. And the first time he called me, he wanted me to do a tour of Grove Cemetery with his grade 5s, grade 6 kids.
Oh.
Gasp. I was terrified. I thought, kids? No way. But I bit the bullet. I thought, okay, I'll do this. And there was snow on the ground, so it was like early winter. Went out. Kids were so engaged. They asked questions. And I told Mr. Bell, you know what? Same thing I told Carolyn. Want me to do this for you anytime? I'm your man. I'm there. And I've been doing it now for about 4 or 5 years now for him. In fact, tomorrow I'm doing a video tour with him of the same thing.
It's a great way to teach kids, isn't it? Sort of hands-on on the
At
spot.
the end, you know what? I felt so high. I felt such a sense of accomplishment. It's true with all these walks I tour, I conduct. I love to brag about my favorite town, so that creeps in.
Yeah.
And I like to tell them what happened here.
Yeah.
When I was always a history fan. I was always a history lover, but my focus of history was on a grand national level. You know, Johnny MacDonald, Cartier, you know, all those people that every Canadian would have heard about. But the profound impact for me here was when I moved to Dundas and did a cemetery tour here with Claire Crozier. And the impact of the people, the souls who are interned in a Grove Cemetery, no one outside of Dundas would have ever heard of them, except for maybe one or two. But they had such a profound impact that built this community, which in turn worked with other communities to build this nation. They were the true founders of our nation. Yeah. And my attitude toward history flip-flopped. And I began concentrating more on local stuff, and I got sucked in. I can't get enough of it.
Awesome, yeah. But you're right about looking up. You can see the year that the building's built, and you can see what the name of it used to be, like the music hall and that kind of thing.
Yeah, the music hall, the Central Hotel. When I first came to town, actually, I thought the post office was the town hall.
Oh, right.
It was a central location. I looked up. It said post office. Oh, okay.
Yeah. They used to identify their buildings, didn't they?
Sorry?
They often used to identify their buildings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can still see their history. Central Hotel, like you said. The music hall.
Yeah.
Glen Campbell Dairy, the one with the cow on it.
Yes. I remember going in there when I was a kid.
I wish I was here for that.
Yeah, I grew up here, so I remember a lot. I left when I was 19 and then came back, like a lot of people have, came back after many years. So, how often do they have the walking tours, or is it's not I know now is a bit different.
Do you know what? Actually, surprisingly, I have never been so busy. All of June is booked, including one for the Rotary Club, theoretically. But I usually do about 3 or 4 a year.
Okay.
But I think because of the COVID-19 situation, people are dying to get out. So St. James Anglican has called me. They want me to do a couple tours, a couple for Rotary, one for another charity called Blooms for Africa. They just want to know more of the town, and I'll take them around. So
how long will the tour last? Like, how long would it be?
Hour and a half, but I've gone like 2 or 3 hours sometimes. Yeah. One time I did a tour called, it was for a Dundas district reunion group, and we started at
I remember that.
Dundas district and went downhill, and I called it "It's all downhill from here."
I saw that,
and there was like 80 people.
Yeah,
didn't expect it. My voice is practically gone, but it went from one end of King Street right down to the other, and it was awesome. Oh my God, I had such a great time.
Yeah.
But usually 1 or 1.5 hours.
Yeah. Is there any charge for it?
I charge big groups about $50.
Yeah.
But if it's a charity, I usually give it back. So.
Yeah,
$50 an hour. Sorry.
yeah. Very good. So you'll be doing it. When's your next one scheduled?
It is. Oh, I got it written here. It's for St. James Anglican Church, the Dundas Driving Park, and the Cross Melville Heritage District. So
And
COVID permitting. So
where is it advertised? Like, where can people find out more about it and when?
do you know what? People usually approach me personally. I don't have any website or anything like that as of yet. Or they call the museum, and the museum has called me, and we'll arrange something.
Yeah.
I've been here long enough that people know. That's one of the other thing about living in a fishbowl like we do,
Yeah.
geographic fishbowl, is that people know you right away, and they know to approach you and say, "Hey, you want to do this and this?" And all of a sudden, I'm doing 4 or 5 or 6 for the summer.
Yeah, and you're the man. Yeah.
That's the vicious rumor.
Yeah. Well, it's something you enjoy doing, and if you like history, I remember going.
Oh my God, this is the most wonderful thing I've done. I mean, it's
I
just
know. Just
so
fell
much
into your lap.
enjoyment.
Yeah. I went to a talk that Austin did at the Dundas Museum about the bars and hotels in Dundas. It was It was
Oh
fascinating.
yeah,
He was excellent. He was so
Tavern Town.
yeah. Used to have a lot of bars here, apparently.
There were tons, and hotels too.
Inns,
I
yeah.
mean, downtown we had the Central, we had the Melbourne Hotel, which is on which where the Royal or the Bank of Montreal is now. The Collins, of course, is legendary. Um, there was one at the further end, across kitty corner from the Rotary Center or the Senior Center there, Community Center.
Yeah.
So there was quite a few because that's when the canal was in its heyday. A lot of these merchants and sailors needed a place to stay. So the hotels were booming, like in between the mid 1830s, especially to the mid 1850s, when the canal was in its full force.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a story, that canal, isn't it? So if
That
people
place, I wish I was here before they filled it in. I would like to see the
oh
basin.
yeah. If people want to find out when and where the next walk is, how would they find out then? Like,
You know, you can contact the museum. They'll contact me, or email me. Basil.cottage at simpatico.ca. BASIL.COTTAGE at simpatico.ca. Named our house after our first dog.
oh,
I wanted to call it Basil Castle, but my wife wouldn't let me.
Castle Castle, that's adorable. Yeah, history is a great part of Dundas and Hamilton for that matter. It's got
It's you know what? I think that's what really this town, I don't know what it is, the sense of community, the strong sense of family that's here. It's really strong,
yeah.
and there's an abundance of it here, natural and cultural. You know, if I want to get away from things, just walk in the woods, 5 minutes, practically either direction.
Absolutely.
I live downtown Dundas, so there's trails everywhere,
Yeah.
and it's just a nice escape, and I don't have to drive anywhere.
Yeah, I know it's pretty special. It's changed a lot, obviously over the years, but it just keeps getting better as far as I'm concerned.
It has changed even since I've been here.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm a fairly newbie at 22 years here only.
Yeah.
But it has. There's been a lot of profound changes, and I go back to like even earlier tours that I've done and stuff, and I've had to update it because a lot of the stuff is outdated. You know, buildings change hands. You know,
Yeah.
buildings are built.
Yeah.
Parks are built. Just progress, and I use that term.
Yes, progress.
Too.
It's kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it? Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So that large group that from district was 80 people. What's typically the size of the group that you have?
20, 25.
Yeah. And so would you
Somewhere
sort of
there.
walk and then stop and talk for a while about whatever it is that you're viewing?
That's right.
Yeah.
And I stress to people, I tell them, you know what? I love the history of this town, but I don't know everything. So please, if you know something, let me know. And it becomes a dialogue.
Yeah.
So I don't go around and just talking. We share. And I think that makes it fun for everybody too. Me too, because I learned something as well. Sorry?
Have you done Hat Street?
I've done a bit of Hat Street, but not in its entirety. When I did a Spencer Creek tour that included a lot of Hat Street.
Yeah.
But I'm working on that one too, actually. Believe it or not.
That's pretty rich, isn't it? Because I remember when the railroad tracks used to go up the road.
Oh, I would have loved to have seen that too. I've seen scads of pictures.
And people used to just hop off and on. I mean, Yeah, it was pretty neat, but it was just normal. So you didn't think anything of it. It was just the train went up Hat Street. That was just what it did. But of course, in retrospect, it's like, wow, that's so cool, you know.
And it went right down to the town hall, I think. I think I saw a picture of the
Yeah,
train going right down to the town hall.
yeah, it went past that actually. It went down
Or
Dundas.
yeah, past the town hall, but I've seen it like right at the town hall.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of the what's it called, where the Shed Brewery is now. I mean, that's what was in the Shed Brewery originally? Was it a
That was part of Valley City Manufacturing,
okay?
but it was also an arena and a sporting venue too. They used to
Yeah,
curl there. They did performances there, like concerts,
yeah,
before it became Valley City's storehouse.
yeah. What are you doing for Rotary? Like, where are those walks going to be? I need
What am I doing for Rotary? It's going to be Grove Cemetery,
right.
and the other one was, oh, what was it? I think it was going to be downtown Dundas, COVID permitting. I have to check again. I'm just drawing a blank.
Yeah,
But then Grove
definitely.
Cemetery was one, and of
The,
course concentrating on Rotary projects, which there's tons of them I found around town here.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's been around for a long time, hasn't it, Rotary? Both of
Yeah,
we're both members of Rotary, so yeah, yeah, very good. Well, that's fascinating, Stan. I'm glad that you found something that you enjoyed doing so much.
it's great. Keeps you out of trouble,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and it's just really, really, really satisfying, and it keeps me going because people who I work with here love it too.
yeah,
So it's a symbiotic relationship. The more I regale the stories, the more they want to hear more, and they tell me, and it's a beautiful circle.
yeah, yeah. Very well done. Yeah, and you've got the T-shirt and everything.
Oh, I always wear something with Dundas on it. So
Oh, that's great, Stan. Well, thanks for your time. That was really interesting, and I'll
my
look
pleasure,
forward to
Judy.
that one.
Thanks for inviting me.
I think I'd like to do that Groves Cemetery walk myself. I think that'll be pretty interesting.
Oh, it's do you know what? If it's one or two people, I just go on a win just by themselves if they want, and we'll just go and have a talk, and no
Yeah.
charge.
Well, we'll see how that one pans out. But thanks again, Stan. I really appreciate
My
your
pleasure, Judy. Thanks for inviting me.
yeah, it was good to talk to you. See you later. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.